Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexiot's here. It's Thursday morning, and this is the last Thursday before the regular season, and we'll be doing a think tank today. But starting on Thursdays, it's going to be more reactions and previews and stuff like that. So the think tank format will be kind of going away for the season, unless there's different days off and stuff like that. We'll bring it back at those times. Monique is here. Good morning, super fan Monique Lawrence. Always happy to see you in the morning on this stream and stuff like that. Monique is saying, I still say Josh Jackson and DJ make the team, and Dalano for sure gets rotation minutes. And it's no secret everyone sees his offseason work development. Yes, Dalano, Banton, you need to play in every single game on the main roster this year. If you're still going to play 905 G League level, that's great too, because I think that really does benefit him also. He seems like the kind of guy that just needs to play as much as possible, and that he's just playing so much this summer. His game is elevating at a really quick rate right now. So keep going, Dalano. You kind of played a lot last year during the season also, between 905 and the main roster, bouncing back and forth between the two teams. So let's put a heavy workload on this young man and see how good he can get over time. I really love the stuff with Dalano now. So you're saying Josh Jackson and DJ. So that would mean, Monique, you'd have to cut somebody else that isn't necessarily going to cut. I will have to ask you which three guys you cut, because obviously you're saying Gabe Brown, Justin Champagnie, and who otherwise? Juancho or something? I don't know. There's got to be one more guy because you have an extra spot. Tom Duke is here. Good morning, you guys. My crazy rotation. He wants to start KOLOKO, Precious, Pascal, Thad, and Fred VanVleet. What? That is not totally crazy. I mean, that is what it is. Have Scotty, OG, Chris Boucher, Otto, and Banton all coming in off the bench. KOLOKO for height at center. Precious and Thad at the forwards, and then you have Fred and Pascal at the guards, because Pascal would be the guard on there. And in some ways, Pascal would be the starting point forward, and Fred would be shooting guard, and like Thad would be our small forward. That's a really big lineup and very interesting idea, Tom. I like this outside of the box kind of thinking that you're thinking here. So this is what Tom's seeing. Start KOLOKO. That is in capitals. So that must mean he really means that one. And then Precious and Thad in the starting lineup instead of Scotty and OG and Gary are out and stuff like that. And they come off the bench. That is very interesting lineup. In some ways, I don't mind it. You know, some teams have done this in the past where they really don't make their starting lineup their very best players. They have some of their best players come in, and it just adds to the boon of the bench unit going against the other team's bench unit. And this kind of smacks of it because, Tom, you know, if you look at your starting lineup, it's very capable. You got Thad out there steadying things right away. You've got KOLOKO being a true center in our starting lineup. And then it's really cool because your lineup forces Pascal kind of to have ball handling duties and stuff like that. So I like it, Tom. I'm not against this. And in some ways, it really kind of, because Gary, OG, and Scotty are all coming off the bench, it's kind of equal in a way, in a weird way. But those guys would probably be super motivated to do really well and stuff like that. I don't think it's very likely Tom's scenario, but I like it. I think it's very much the outside the box thinking we like on the think tank. And it brings up all kinds of interesting ideas about what that lineup would be like to start. Good morning, Duke Rocks. Always good to see my good friend Raptor Freak Duke Rocks. It's a Thursday morning, a rainy Thursday in the 416. I just want to take a moment just to say, guys, this week is early voting in Toronto and all over Ontario in your city for municipal elections. This means we're electing our mayor here in Toronto. So if you're, you know, I just encourage everybody to go out and vote. Now, there's a lot of different people to vote for here in Toronto. Now, don't just get stuck with the incumbent. I know, sure, he's a familiar name. He's a big Raptor supporter, and I don't mind him. He's not a bad guy, John Tory. But there are other candidates that may fit your ideologies of what you want to see in your Toronto mayor that may be different. So there's a quiz online you can go and take and see which candidate aligns with your political beliefs the best. So I highly recommend that, and look and do some research on who the candidates are and see who you like. I know who I like. I like this guy who's going to try and cut down all the roads in Toronto and close them and make it more friendly space for biking and walking and public transit and cut the cars out in downtown Toronto. because it's amazing how much land mass is used just for roads and concrete and stuff like that. You take those roads out and make it gardens and nice parks and more housing and more other things and stuff like that. Very interesting ideas of how to revitalize cities in the middle of them by cutting the cars out and making more space for other things and more people joining together and walking around and having more interaction because the car separates us and stuff like that. I really believe that, but highly recommend. I'm going to go today to my early voting poll place around the corner, and I'm going to vote in my municipal election because it's not only the mayor race, it's also for your ward and your counselor. So this is an important election, even though it's a local level election. So I highly recommend everybody who gets to vote this month, go do it. If you got early voting this week, do it today or tomorrow, but definitely vote on the day of the voting day, which is the 24th, I believe. So make sure you vote. That's all. That's my PSA for that right now. All right, G saying P Skills event looked great. That event last night looked so fun. And I'm like wondering where the hell it was. And apparently he was there for hours, just chilling out with everybody on that rooftop. I'm not sure where it was downtown Toronto, but the P Skills shooting competition was fantastic. It obviously looked like it was, a closed event. It'd be very hard to get up there and get in there. It would have been mobbed. But it looked like it was very fun for the people there, like the young kids that got to shoot with him and hang out with him. And he signed so much stuff. And people were saying that he hung around and just was so involved and immersed with the fans at this event last night. So good on you, Pascal. You're a real one and you're awesome. I love that you're hanging out with everybody and doing this event, this shooting event that he did, shooting competition or something. It was on the rooftop of some place downtown. Really well done. And it did look like it was a lot of fun. It would have been awesome. Fun Guy saying, is tomorrow roster cuts? I'm not sure. They could happen at any time. Some people have been cutting rosters already early in preseason. It's like if we already know we don't want this guy, let's just go ahead and cut him now. So there's been cuts going on at any time it could happen. But it really is, I think what we can expect to see them this weekend. It won't happen before this game tomorrow night. It'll happen probably sometime this weekend or very early next week, right before the game on Wednesday. So it's going to happen between Saturday and Tuesday coming up. I don't think it'll happen tomorrow or today, but they're going to start happening Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that range around there. And yeah, well, let's talk about who we think should be getting cut and who should be in our rotation, who should be the starters. This is the Thursday think tank, and we're talking about the Raptors rotation and how we're looking at it and how we see the roles and the people, where they're going to be kind of staggered as far as our rotation and who should be starting, who should be in the rotation, who should be making the team. That's what we're talking about today. So you guys have opinions, ideas about what you think the Raptors franchise roster should look like. You let them be known here. This is where we talk about them right here. Monique saying, it's okay to be crazy sometimes, Tom. It is okay to be crazy sometimes, Tom. I agree with this. Monique is right. Sometimes you get a little crazy, get good things happen for you and stuff like that. But yeah, crazy measured. I don't mind Tom's crazy lineup. Honestly, it has some merit and some really interesting things about it. Like I said, KOLOKO starting is fantastic. And the fact that Pascal has to be slotted at a guard spot is actually really cool. I like that too. All right, let's see. G saying, Justin posted a photo of himself in Raptors gear with a heart. Not sure if he is just showing he cares or if that's a hint. That is good. I think that that's good. He had an interview yesterday at practice, and I was glad to see him talking. And he really did talk about how frustrating and a struggle it's been to have to deal with his injuries when he knows he's in a position battle to try and make this team. That he said that, especially in his case, not having the health in this time to be battling and showing what he can do has been absolutely frustrating and very bad timing and stuff like that. He will be playing tomorrow, and hopefully he can get a good showing. I've said, like, this week, if he can get a double-double, that will go a long way tomorrow night. He probably will get the minutes too, because I think Nick is saying that he's going to try. This game is not necessarily going to be for the starters and things like that. That he's going to really have those position battles for the end of the bench, and making the team are going to get a lot of time in Montreal against the Celtics. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully they can get some of the same success they had against Boston in Boston in the first preseason game against them, because our end of the bench played them really, really well. And hopefully that'll carry over and they can do it some more on Friday night. They just a quick note, they changed the time of the game tomorrow night to 7:30. It was going to be at 7 p.m. start. It's much better start at 7:30 tomorrow night, just so you guys know. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Justin. You can tell he's a little worried, he's a little scared, and he knows that this is a business. He said this yesterday. He said, "This is a business, and I understand that," and stuff like that. So, whatever happens with Justin, I wish him well. And who knows? He may make the team. He may, end up going somewhere else. He may end up on 905 still, straight up, even if he gets cut by us. I'd love to see him, if we do not keep him on our team, him turn around and say, okay, well, I'm going to do what Reggie Perry did, and I'm going to sign with you guys on 905 and continue to develop with your team, because this is the team I enjoy being around. These are my friends, and I trust you guys to give me a chance later down the road to reestablish myself on the main roster and get out of the G League again. Because that may be his best opportunity still, that we have a lot of value in him. And if we see him on the G League level do very well, we can elevate him at any time. So that may be his best route if he doesn't make the roster. So we'll have to see. Hot Take Jay's here. This is what Hot Take Jay's saying. Cut Champagnie, Gabe Brown, and Malachi. Now, that's interesting because Malachi is kind of protected. And that would mean that we would be keeping Josh Jackson and DJ Wilson, and subbing out Malachi for Gabe Brown. Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know. That could happen, I guess, but I don't know. That's not very likely. Malachi, for some reason, is very much a made man on this team. Masai and Nick and Fred all vouch for him, and they really, really want him on the team and stuff like that. So I don't know if that'll happen, Jay. But yeah, I can see the other two, obviously. So Josh Jackson would be on the team. I see what you did. Okay, yeah, we basically take Malachi out and you put Jackson on the team. That's what you're saying. Good morning, Sue. Good to see you the other day. Good to see you here. Raptor Freak Sue, so awesome to go to the game with you this week. Let's see. Click is here also. Good morning to Click. Where I jumped. Where did it go? Okay, Sixers just released Charles Bassey, a center we can definitely use with skill. Given the right opportunity, he can do something. Really? Sixers released Bassey. Wow, that is a very interesting release, and that guy's available. I don't know. Do we have a center need at this point in some ways? Like, I wonder about, like, with KOLOKO on the team now after the draft pick, with KOLOKO, Birch. I mean, I don't know. That is an interesting idea to get Charles Bassey at this point. And, it's sometimes good to get players from teams that you're a divisional rival with, and they may know the playbook. So you can go get Charles Bassey and get a little insight on the Sixers schemes and stuff like that. Maybe. I don't. This is an interesting idea. I'm not against it. I've watched Bassey play, and he's rough and raw, and he really is kind of G League, close to just being G League level. But that's a very interesting idea, and I didn't know that they cut him already this preseason. That's weird, because he really did seem like somebody they were investing in, like Paul Reed or what you would call it, Charlie Brown, something like that. That's interesting. Tom Duke saying, I can see big things coming from KOLOKO, not just big swats and big shots with big hooks, but just big things, that he's going to be doing big things for this team. I agree. I think that is very true. And as I predicted this summer, I think that people are going to look back at this draft that we just had, and they're going to say, how the hell did the Raptors get KOLOKO in the second round? How did we allow this to happen, NBA? That the Raptors got KOLOKO in the second round? How did we do this? Why did nobody else get him in the first round? And the Raptors got him, and Masai and Bobby look like geniuses again, because they got this incredible second round pick that actually kind of looks like a lottery pick in some ways. Seriously, like, the dude looks like he should be like a top 10 pick in some ways, just on his potential and the things that he could grow into. Oh my gosh. I see it too, Tom. And I really hope it all comes to fruition. All right, Logical Raptors fanatic, salute. He's back after my unplug. You unplugged. I saw you. I watched your clip on the road to championship, Logical, in the last couple days. Great job. I like how you're talking about the history of how we built up to 2019 and look at the different years and the different moves and stuff like that. And you're trying to hearken them to things now. The only thing I would say is it's really hard to kind of make a standard kind of template for the what right path to get to a championship, because it's so different and weird for every time somebody makes a championship. That sometimes the build up to get to the championship can't really find any rhyme or reason to it. That we could win the championship this year and it would just be like, boom, it just happened this year. And that, I look at like Milwaukee, I look at like Phoenix, like not Phoenix, the Lakers, how they've gone up and down and won a championship all of a sudden, partly because of the bubble. It's hard. It really is hard to find patterns, is what I'm saying. But I like how you detailed the whole like era before with Kyle and DeMar and the transitioning, the stuff like the Rudy Gay trade and everything that you went over in your content this week. Good stuff. Logical Raptors fanatic, go check out Logical Raptors Fanatics YouTube channel. It is awesome. And he's got so much good stuff on there. Let's see. Jimmy Pope's here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning, Raptor Freak Jimmy Pope. Always good to see you on a rainy Toronto morning. Fun guy saying everyone has been saying Precious is their option if Gary is out of the starting five. But man, KOLOKO looks like our future at five. I agree with this. Once he fills out a little more, he gets savvy at like position and holding position and can be strong against big, strong centers. Yeah, it would be really smart to use his height and use his motor, his ability to get around with that height on our team, because I really do think that's a great combination. The swats, the shot blocks, and just the up and down the court and the quick on his feet, moving from this side to this side, and then boom, he's over there blocking a shot. There's a lot of good things to like about KOLOKO, and I love that everybody's really excited, enthusiastic about him. But we also have to temper our expectations and allow for him to have failure and not be always polished and perfect all the time. We're going to see him have some bad games, but we're going to also see him have games where he just like blossoms a little bit from time to time. And we'll see him add a little more offense at times. And we're going to be like, whoa, wow, that little low post, little spin hook or whatever he does, we're going to be impressed with him. But we also have to take the like, okay, yeah, he shat the bed this game too, kind of stuff too. So there's going to be a mix of both. But everybody, we should all be excited about him. And, I don't think it's Precious. It shouldn't be considered a five at this point. He really is a multi-positional player that can maybe play like 4 out of the 5 positions. I would say everything but point guard. Like he could be the 2 at this point, and he can definitely play the 5, but really want to slot him in at like 3 or 4. Like those are the sweet spots for him to be in the lineup with somebody who's just bigger than him. So he can be like the power forward, the 4 or something like that. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I don't know if Precious is actually a center. He's maybe a swing. Monique is saying, I say Juancho or Champagnie out and Gabe 905. Okay. All right. Well, Juancho, yeah, we'll have to see. You guys, some people are wanting Juancho and Malachi and Thad off the main roster. If we could cut them instead of some of the other names that they have been mentioned, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think Juancho's in good shape because he's done very well, and his contract's different. Like we said, he's Drake's poster boy for OVO clothing right now, and there's a lot of different things that are just showing that Juancho's for sure probably going to be on the team, but who knows? Who knows? Anything weird things can happen. Raymond Jacobs here. Good to see Raymond Jacob. We need to trade for a 34-point Norman Powell back. He wants Norman back. We need to trade to get Norman back. Yeah, I don't know. We've been down that road before with Norman. We love Norman. He's great. He's had his time here. He's won a championship with us. I don't know if we want to go back. It's kind of like, I don't know. So you have an old relationship with someone and you're like, you want to rekindle it or revisit it. It's not always the best idea. I don't know. That's tough. Sue's saying, I say cut Ron Harper Jr. and put Champagnie on the 2-way. Okay. I could see that. So it's like take Ron Harper's 2-way away and give Justin another 2-way this season instead. That's not totally out of the question and is actually very doable. So we'll have to see how it is. and stuff like that. We'll have to see. Okay, fun guy saying, laugh out loud. Who am I supposed to vote for? The Democrat who's blasting me in the ass, or the Republican who's gonna blast me in the ass? Ah, all right. Well, we're up here in Canada. I mean, I'm not gonna. Should I tell you who I'm gonna vote for? I'm voting for Penalosa. It's that he's from Brazil and he helped Buenos Aires like change, and they've like had beautiful, amazing things happen in their city because of his plans and stuff, and his like ideas for like changing away from having too many cars in downtown are really fat forward thinking, and like I think that they're amazing because they have so many hidden benefits from the things and stuff like that. He has a TED talk that kind of illustrates the way he looks at city building and urban planning right now. That's absolutely fantastic. And it'll make you understand why we need to go in this direction more and more with the things that are happening with oil and how we need to get away from oil and stuff like that. We're just going to need to make these changes anyway. So it's like, why not get ahead instead of being like stupid and get behind? There's other cities in this world that are ahead of our city here in Toronto as far as getting more green and getting more ready for changes with energy that are going to happen in this world. They're just going to happen, guys. You know, there's a lot of different things that are going to happen as far as with gas vehicles they're going to be going out the window. You're not going to see them in like maybe 20, 30 years from now. So why wouldn't we get ahead of this curve and start now in changing over from gas powered vehicles? Oh, maybe too many single person vehicles, and getting more into like public transit, biking, riding bikes, electric cars, and things like that. So yeah, I know both sides are bad and different things and stuff like that. And listen, but there very much is a false equivalency between like, okay, the Democrats are going to hurt me and the Republicans are going to hurt me, because the way they're going to hurt you is very different. The Democrats are the good guys. They may be liars at times and stuff like that, but they're the ones who are kind of still wanting us to stay democracy. Meanwhile, the Republicans very much are fascists at this point. That these people celebrate fascists in Europe right now. They're bringing over fascist governments like Hungary to come and teach them how to be fascist here. So if you like rights, if you like having a free world, if you like having a world free of dictatorship that rules over you, you better vote Democrat or liberal. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the conservatives and the Republicans are moving towards fascist Mussolini, Hitler kind of shit right now. So it's not really equal. So if you like, okay, I want to vote for, somebody who's the Hitler of our century, Donald Trump people, or do you want to vote for people that are kind of what we've had before? Yeah, they're the regular like asshole politicians, but they're not the ones that are going to try and turn us into a dictatorship. So they're not very equal. I would say this, fun guy, you got to look at that. It's like, do you want to go fascism or do you want to kind of still have democracy? So that's what I will say about that. So yeah, G saying it was a stacked market. I think it was at Stacked Market. That's where Pascal had his event at Stacked. I'm trying to remember where that is. It's somewhere downtown, maybe in the distillery. Nako saying from Mississauga, I wish I could vote for someone who could bring us a legal dispensary, but I don't think that's part of anyone's platform. I don't want to run with DJ over Josh or Juancho. I think you want to run with DJ over Josh or Juancho. Okay. Okay, cool. So you're into DJ Wilson making the team and not Josh. And Juancho, another person who's not that keen on having Juancho of the team, even though it seems like he's in and stuff like that. You guys don't have dispensaries in Mississauga yet? That's messed up. Yeah, these are sometimes local issues. I'll bet you there is a candidate that is pushing for this. It's just you may not hear about them. And that's why we need to go and look and see who all is running. And really, some of these people don't have any money to spend on media. So they may be the person that you should vote for. And even if you think that it's a throwaway vote, it isn't. Because the more percentage the people that you vote for, that you align with, the more they become valid in certain ways. They may lose, but then they may say, like, look, they got like 15% of the vote still, though. That this person has viable people that believe in what's on their platform. So I'm going to vote for someone who's probably not going to win mayor, but I want to make sure that he looks good. So I'm going to go in there and vote for him anyway, even though he probably won't beat John Tory. People will go in and they'll look at the ballot and they'll say, oh, John Tory, he's the one I know. And they'll just mark it. That's a lot of what happens with these kind of things. It's like, oh, I'll just vote it. But some people may be really pissed off at John Tory and spite vote against him and just vote for somebody else and stuff like that. So that's really too bad about Mississauga. And they're backwards. They need to get with the program and allow for illegal dispensaries in the 905. Right. Oh, yeah. Tom Duke saying Justin is everyone's son, I think. I don't want him to be bagging on him and stuff like that when he's down. Seriously, I think he's a cool dude. He's a nice guy. And I mean, I know that the Sun thing really pissed me off this summer because I thought he was out of line with it. But you know what? It's sad. It's sad in some ways. Like if he makes the team, I'll be kind of like, well, you better show that you earned it over the season because I don't feel like you earned it from the preseason or the off season. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens with Justin. It's really interesting. He's the epicenter of kind of like making or breaking the team right now. Hot chick take Jay is saying Justin Champagnie sucks. Don't let him fool you. Hot take Jay with a hot take that I don't know if it's actually that hot. I think there's a lot of people that would agree with you right now and stuff like that. That 1 point and 1 rebound and like the amount of time he had in the game the other day just isn't enough. It just doesn't give us as much as we can get from a roster spot in some ways and stuff like that. Duke saying, agree, Sue. Prefer Champagnie over Harper Jr. Not sure how their contracts work. I'd like KOLOKO to start as well. So Duke's big on KOLOKO starting also. He really likes that look with a 7-foot center, a real center in our lineup. So another person saying, can we switch Harper Jr. off of a two-way? I don't know how that would work. Like, would he be able to be on 905 and still be a part of everything? And Justin just gets that. It may be that we don't like doing guys on two ways 2 years in a row. Justin was on a two-way last year. And it may be that our franchise kind of looks at things and say, well, we want to give 2 ways to different people every year. Like if somebody's getting a two-way 2 years in a row, that may mean that they're not developing fast enough for what we want them to do. Like, you give a two-way to Justin last year, but why? Well, do we want to invest another two-way in him this year and really kind of get the same out of him like this year in the same way? No, they want to give another chance to somebody else. And I know Ron Harper Jr. hasn't looked good yet. He hasn't really shown us anything, but there's got to be something to him that made us want to give him a two-way like this already. But I have heard you can rescind the two-way and give it to somebody else. So what you guys are saying isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. So, but I don't know how likely it is. I think that, much like OG doesn't shoot to miss, I don't think Bobby Webster signs two ways to miss on who he wants on two ways. So it's like when he gave those to Jeff Dowtin and Ron Harper, he was like, these are going to be our two-way guys this year, guys. And I don't know if he likes switching it around too much. And it's not an ego thing like, oh, I made a mistake. I picked the wrong two-way person going into the season. We're going to switch it to Justin. I think it really is that they really think about it and they say, well, let's invest in this guy and give him the path to develop and make the team in this period of time. And it may be that Justin's period is gone, that he had 1 year to show an elevated path of his game getting better and better and better. And much like he needed to look like Dalano this summer is what I'm saying. Is that's the kind of way you need to progress in your NBA career is that quickly, like ramping up. And Dalano is showing the prototype, like he's even better than like ramping. He's probably ramping up even better than he has to hold his spot on this team. Justin's not even close to that. So that's the thing. I think that they don't like investing two ways in the same player 2 years in a row. So that may be part of it. Monique saying, what did you take away from yesterday's interview? I'm not worried about Chris Boucher. Yeah, it's really sad that Chris won't be able to play in Montreal tomorrow night, that this injury that he suffered in Houston last week was a lot more than I thought. He had to go back to the locker room during the game. I didn't even notice that. And I don't even know what this injury is that he has right now. Maybe I should go look at it real quick. What is he listed for the injury report? What is it? Coach Nurse said Wednesday that he hopes Chris Boucher, it's his hamstring, will be able to return for the Raptors regular season opener against the Cavs on October the 19th. So he's already said yesterday, Nick said, Otto and Chris will be hopefully available for the first game against Cleveland, but they're not going to be playing tomorrow night. in Montreal. And I know that's really disappointing for Chris because he really kind of is the figurehead Montreal basketball kind of guy. Now, Cam will be there and we can have him be the Montreal kind of guy for this, but it really should have been Chris because he's kind of already put in a lot of work of being around Montreal basketball events this whole summer and stuff like that. Whether it was the CBL games with the Montreal team out there, he was there, celebrating things with Lou Dort and, other Canadian players and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's too bad about Chris, but you're not worried about him, Monique. I'm not either. I think he'll be fine and he'll show up and he'll be good to go for the first game of the season. Logical saying everyone needs to relax on dumping on Justin. You're judging him against more older and more experienced guys, and the judging scale is different. If people don't have that in mind, I'm telling you, you're in for a shock. Yeah, within reason. Let's look at his guy Dalano, his best friend next to him. They came in the same time. They're comparable. That's what I'm saying. I won't compare him to older guys. I'll compare him to the guy who's at the same place in his career, and that's Dalano Banton. And if you're comparing them, you can go back to what I said 5 minutes ago. Delano's going up, and Justin is not. He's kind of like gone, and he's kind of like that at this point. So I don't know. I don't know. We can see if his fit with the culture and how much he gets along with everybody, and that people just like the spirit of his dog in his fight, as he put it in his interview yesterday. He makes the team. There are intangibles. They're probably getting counted. But once again, also, Nick Nurse said offense is what he's looking for in the last spot on the roster. And that does not mean Justin Champagnie. So in some ways, Nick is already saying that he's probably going to get cut. So we'll have to see. I don't know who's going to be shocked. I don't think anybody's going to be shocked by any of the things that happen. There won't be any of these weird switching moves like we've talked about, the two-way. There won't be cutting Malachi. There won't be cutting Juancho. It'll be really what we're kind of saying is it'll be like these three dudes are gone. And for me, I'll go ahead and talk about it right now. It hasn't really changed. It's staying the way that I thought. They'll cut Gabe Brown. He'll go on to the 905 on his Exhibit 10. They'll cut Josh Jackson because he just didn't do enough. And that it's just the nature of the business. And he'll probably maybe turn around and sign with the 905 and play for us anyway this season. He may not. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then cut Champagnie. Those are the three cuts I want to see. And that means DJ Wilson makes the team out of those four guys that are kind of like on the edge. And it really is because DJ was there last year. He got a lot of time in. He has the certain needs that we need. And he is the better offensive player out of that group, the more consistent one out of all of them. So that's part of it right there. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Pascal Skills Challenge was advertised on IG account. Okay, cool. So you could have gone and seen it. So it just didn't seem like it was a very huge group. And sometimes those rooftop patios, it's hard to get up to them. It could be like, oh, you're on the list or something like that. I was wondering, like, if he's having a shooting competition, why isn't there a mob of people there? A whole bunch of people. It seemed like a very small group up on top of the roof and stuff. But that's cool. I'm glad he did an event like that. And that made it such a special night for the people that were there to get to be around him like that and stuff like that in that kind of setting. G saying, I think Juancho is safe. No, he hasn't shown much in preseason, but he also didn't have time with the team like others do. Not sure what to think of him yet. Need to see more. I like Juancho. I think that Juancho is a real professional. In fact, I think he's much more polished than people like DJ Wilson or Josh Jackson or stuff like that with his NBA game. I think that the side of him with the international play for Spain really makes him more premium than you guys give him credit for. Like I've said a couple times in the last weeks or so, the things that he did at Eurobasket are absolutely impressive. And that if you don't want to look at the things he's doing in preseason as being okay or just not enough, look at what he did at Eurobasket this summer and realize that that is probably some of the highest level of basketball that any of our Raptors played against this summer. Rico Hines runs great. James Harden, Steph Curry's there and stuff like that. But this was with refs. This is with Luka, Nikola Jokic, Lauri Markkanen for Finland. They had such good players playing against Spain in this Eurobasket that we didn't see it. So we don't understand just how good he is in some ways. So you're going to be revealed more to what Juancho can do in versatile ways for the team. And then we'll be like, okay, we made the right decision keeping Juancho on the team this year, that he was a really good acquisition this offseason on the down low. And then we'll look really smart for having him. Everybody can say Otto Porter, sure, that's a great acquisition. We can tell right away. But Juancho may end up being, during the season, somebody that we are really thankful that we went out and acquired this summer. You guys may be really surprised to see what he does and how he's helping us. All right, let's see. Nako's saying, I hope Justin makes it. Yeah, see, a lot of people are still for Justin and want him to make the team and stuff. And I mean, I won't be upset. I want guys to be happy. And I know that him being on the team will make Scotty and Dalano happy for sure. Click saying the time for the game changed again. Yeah, they changed the game to 7:30 for the start. Now, if you're going to the game, right, Click? So maybe you need to just go there as early as possible, like we do, and just hang out in the building, soak in the ambiance, and watch the players pre-shoot around before anybody comes in and stuff. And you can just see the Raptors hanging out there. So go early either way. You get off work, go straight down there, whatever. Logical saying, I'm going to clear any two-way answers this weekend just for a hint. Okay, cool. All right, so Logical is going to do a piece this weekend on the two-way contracts and how they work. This is great. I love information. I love sharing information so we can all be more knowledgeable Raptors fans. So I look forward to it because there's probably little things about the two-way contracts that I don't fully understand that maybe you can illuminate for me. Mike, yeah, I heard your name at the end of the show, Mike. It's good to have you here, Mike. Duke Rocks is saying, I suspect we could see a trade to make room for the players the Raps want to keep. Yeah, everybody keeps grumbling about consolidation trade this summer or this season, that the Raptors could really get themselves into championship level by trading like 3 or 4 players for like maybe 1 or 2 players and really consolidate the talent into like a couple of players. Like get some really huge name for like 3 of our players since we have so many and we're deep. It's really going to be balancing, valuing, like getting that more talent and seeing if it gets us to another level without sacrificing some of our depth that is very valuable at also in some ways the other way. But there is a lot of talk of a consolidation trade that could happen this season with the Raptors by trading a couple of their players that are kind of like, Gary, different people. I shouldn't say Gary out specifically, but, different players together for like one really good player. And some fans are really big believers and they need this. We need this to happen for us to be actually a real championship contender. I don't totally agree that it has to happen for us to be a contender. I think we can be a contender as is and the way we're going forward. But it could be that Masai and Bobby analyze things and they say, well, we could make this trade right now for Kevin Durant still in the middle of the season. And they made the prices different now kind of thing. And we get a really good deal for somebody like Kevin Durant or not DeAndre Ayton, but some of these guys that are going to be moving this season, possibly in different ways. I think Kevin might still get moved in January and stuff like that. So we're going to have to see. All right, let's keep going. G saying Bucks are 0 for 5. Anyone freaked out over our Raptors preseason? I know. When I saw that the Milwaukee Bucks went 0 for 5 in their preseason, I was like, no, this doesn't matter in some ways. And that's what Giannis is saying. He doesn't care that they went 0-5 in the preseason. He's not worried. But then again, I'm also like saying, well, also you guys are losing. And, you probably did try to win some of these games, but you didn't win any of them. Like they lost to Brooklyn last night. And I was like, Milwaukee, you should be beating Brooklyn. But you made Brooklyn look good last night. This is weird. This is real weird. Why are you making Brooklyn look good right now? But yeah, I don't understand it. Milwaukee is 0 for 5 in the preseason. That's a record. So maybe their fans should be chicken littling a little bit, but probably not. It's the preseason once again. Cool Cat saying, I like him, but he needs 905 for continued development. Injuries all summer hurt him. Yeah, Justin Champagnie, we like you. You have not been able to show what you're doing or how you've progressed, much like your friend, Mr. Banton. And that's really important at your stage in your career. The very early years of your career are the time when you need to get your foot in there and set, and you're just on and in the NBA. Well, you haven't totally taken to being in the NBA for sure yet, Justin. So it is. I think it's good for him to go to 905 and do a 905 route this year. In fact, I don't want him eating up minutes on the main roster in the way that he did last year. I want somebody else to play those minutes on the main roster. He can go to 905 and develop further, and he will reacquire his NBA level of being in the NBA over time. It's just that it's that hard. And thank God the G League is there to have this situation for somebody like Justin Champagnie if they don't make the main roster, stuff like that. Cool Cat saying, okay, wait, we jumped up. All right, actually, Cool Cat, I already read that one. Let me keep going. I love all the comments, and we're gonna get through all of them for sure. Wow. All right, you guys are going off today. I love it. I love it so much. Cool Cat was not at Scotty's Twitch yesterday. Unfortunately, Scotty was on Twitch last night for the first time since preseason started. I was out with my parents at dinner in Uxbridge, so I did not see his stream that he jumped on. I had no idea what happened on there. I think Shane Waters was in there. So Shane, if you're in our stream, please tell us what you saw on Scotty's Twitch last night, because obviously he's not saving them anymore, so we can't go and review them. So we have no idea what he said or what happened on there. I think I heard Tom was talking to Shane, and he told him that he was just playing 2K23 and kind of just checking in with everybody. But he may have talked about his ankle last night and different things like that. I wish I had really been here to see it, but it was a really nice time with my folks too. So it's tough. I missed Scotty's Twitch. Sucks. David is agreeing with Sue. I like to see that. Good morning, David. Good to see you, man. G is saying this trade season is going to be insane, I believe, due to tanking teams. I think there's going to be a lot of bargains. I think there can be some really good fleecing. Like Masai Ujiri may be able to do some real magic this season. That is if they decide to do trades and stuff. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. But I think you're right that there's going to be a lot more movement in some ways, in ways that may be different than other years, just because of the Victor effect. That is very true. Fun guy saying, but in all fairness, Bucks rarely played their starters or Giannis. Okay. Yeah. See, we don't know all the factors about things and stuff like that. It may be that they really didn't care. Like a lot of teams don't give a shit about preseason. They really use it for certain specific things. Like we have really been trying new stuff, being experimental, not going with our bread and butter. And that's why we've looked so bad on offense at times, is Nick Nurse is experimenting and trying new things, and they're not comfortable doing it, obviously. Logical saying, not going to lie, Justin is probably staying. Josh and DJ aren't 905 eligible. From what I know, I will look deeper, but straight up, everyone has this roster cuts wrong, in my opinion. Well, we all have our own opinions, and we'll just have to see how it goes. This is all speculation. That's the great thing about it. And, I don't have a vote in this to be right or wrong. I just look at it analytically from my perspective of years of watching basketball. And I just see this is how kind of it's shaping up. Now, I know he's a sentimental favorite, and some people are holding on to him because, it's Justin, sentimental and stuff like that. Don't let that cloud your judgment. But yeah, Josh is actually on 905 eligible because he's in his fourth year. This is his last year where he can actually play for 905, but DJ is not 905 eligible. That is true. So Josh Jackson could be on the 905 even if he gets cut. I do know that's true. Click saying, thoughts on DJ Wilson. I like DJ Wilson. He's 6'10". He can rebound. He can block shots. He's playing much better defense. He's improved on his defense. See, there's another leveling up. If you pay attention to him, he's a better player than he was in the middle of the season last year because he's much better on the rotations and playing within our defense. And that is really the biggest knock I had on him, that his defense wasn't so good. But now he's getting a little more physical. He's a little more with the Eagles and just all over the place and stuff like that. I like that. I like that he's consistent three-point shooter. I like he has a mid-range, and I like that he can score near the basket too. So there's a lot of things I like about DJ Wilson. Plus, he's got 5 years experience. He played for the Bucks organization for a long time. So that's a winning organization he's coming from. That's a little bit different than Josh Jackson, who's kind of been on shitty teams and maybe not been learning from the best guys around him and stuff like that. Now, DJ's been on winning teams for the most part and around winning culture. In fact, I think he was around the Bucks when they won the championship. So that's what I'm saying. There's some intangibles and things about DJ Wilson that we're not talking about enough. He's been on mostly winning organizations, and that he has a more experience than anybody else trying to make the end of the bench. And that I value right now. That we want more people like Otto and Thad and stuff like that. Duke saying, didn't Nurse say the starters would change from game to game based on matchups, which I agree with, since closing the game is really what matters. Yeah. Yeah, he has said this, and it will depend on like if we're seeing Nikola Jokic on the other side of the ball against us that night. It may be that Kem Birch has to start that night. I made a little list before I went on the air today, kind of like breaking down how I see the pecking order of the Raptors roster right now, and really kind of where they are and stuff like that. Obviously, I have the 5 starters that are already declared our 5 starters by Nick. You know, Pascal, Fred, OG, Gary, and Scotty. But we have a couple of guys that we can kind of sub in and start just in case for a situation like Duke's saying. So it's like I put 3 guys that are kind of like easy sub-ins for the starting lineup if we want to change somebody out just real quick. Maybe somebody's hurt or something. Precious, KOLOKO, and really Kem. I really still think Kem is the best defensive big center that we have right now until KOLOKO really proves that he can throw his weight around and guard big guys and not get backed up. Like, did you see the clip last night of Giannis hitting Ben Simmons, him playing center, and he's coming in the lane and he hits Ben Simmons and he goes flying underneath the basket and Giannis just puts it in? That's what I'm saying. We don't want KOLOKO's good in certain ways, but he can get an arm or push into him and he's off, and then it's an easy shot because he doesn't have the weight to hold and stand strong to like brace like Kem does. So that's why I like him as a starting center more than KOLOKO in some ways, just because he's more proven. Now, this could change by the end of the season. I'll be like, well, KOLOKO could be the starting center because he's proven that he can do the thing that I just talked about. But that's the really important thing. If you're going to have a big guy as be your center, they need to be able to positionally hold strength and hold guys off of being too close to the basket. And Kem is our best player on our team that does this. So that's why I see pseudo starters, Precious, KOLOKO, and Kem Birch. Those 3 guys can kind of jump in. Now, Chris is another one that could be a pseudo starter, or Thad also, because I've seen Nick Nurse kind of say, okay, Thad, we want you for experience, or Chris, we just need your energy or something like that. They could be subbed in it too. So, and then you kind of got your regular rotation guys that'll be playing, but maybe not getting starting opportunities. I really have Dalano near the top of this list at this point because I just feel like he deserves it from everything he's done this summer. He's elevated himself, not only just from being out of the 905 area. Maybe he may not play 905 this year. They may be like, you know what, you did enough at that level. We really want you on the main roster only. And not only that, from not being just like a 12 man or a 13th man at the end of the bench, this dude is right around like 7th or like 8th or 9th guy on the team as far as coming off the bench to me, Dalano Banton at this point. So I really see him as being regular rotation this year for real, and like really eating up minutes in some ways, like better than he did last year. Sure, he got in a lot of games last year, but he'd only get in for like 5 or 6 minutes at the most. And now I really see him possibly getting into the teens with how many minutes he gets in the game, like 15 minutes a game or something like that, because he's been that good. And then, Otto's going to be involved in this kind of unit around there once he's healthy. So he's kind of like in that rotation of like with these guys that I've all named. And then Juancho's the very last one. And he may be more leaning towards the end of the bench, not used as much, but there and available if we do just need another big body like him, or like Wilson is another one. Like I have Wilson making the team. So Juancho and Wilson are kind of in the same area of being on the team. And then Malachi is kind of like, I think he's kind of going to be used for very specialized moments with small guards needing to be chased around. Then you bring Malachi off the bench. But otherwise, I don't know if he should play a whole lot. I mean, he should get chances to try and excel and prove that he should play more. But I don't know if he should initially right away get to play a whole lot. But he will probably at some point. And then we got the 2 ways. And then, like I said, DJ Wilson makes the team and the other 3 guys get cut and stuff like that. So, all right, let's keep going. But I think he will change the lineup depending on injury, obviously, and then also maybe on the matchup for sure, dude. Cool Cat saying Gabe Brown was in the Raptors Leafs opener with Scotty. Don't know if it's a sign. Yeah, they did the little clip where they're saying Go Leafs, go. Have a great year. I don't think it is a sign. I'll think it's this, Cool Cat. He's going to be on our 905 team for sure. So he's in our franchise no matter what. And maybe they wanted to have a couple different representation from different levels of our organization in that spot. And Gabe was just the 905 player that got that kind of little spot in between Scotty and who was the other person? Otto Porter Jr. saying, go Leafs, go in their new season and stuff like that. G saying Giannis played 32 minutes last night and has played some or most of the minutes, to be honest. Yeah, I thought he had been playing and stuff like that. I think that Milwaukee just didn't care about winning, and the other team was just messing them up. But Fun Guy, good point, because Raptors play deep into their rotation too, and that's why people should not worry about preseason. Yeah, we can't read too much into it, but we love beating the Celtics. I'll read into that at least. I love beating the Celtics and having them be disappointed afterwards and thinking about wanting to scrap their whole season to get Victor because of the way we came back on them last week. It was awesome. Logical saying people need to relax on thinking missing the summer mattered to a 21-year-old. You know what? You're really wrong, Mike. It does matter. Nick Nurse has said it this week. He said, yeah, not being here has hurt him. Nick straight up said that about Justin, that being available is important to make this team, and he has not been available. So it does matter. Trust me, it very much does matter. And Justin knows it too. He would tell you that himself. It matters that I have not been here, and this may be part of the reason why I don't make the team. Guardian saying, found out private box is too expensive. Yeah, I had that feeling. It's almost like if you have to be a corporation and just pay for it and say, hey, here come employees. I mean, we've got a box for you. I'm sure it is too expensive. Well, the other thing we can do is look at group rates on seats and just get like a whole row together and stuff like that, because they have that. And we could just get up in the stands and just have like a whole row where we all sit together next to each other. That'll be awesome. Peter thinks Justin will be on the team 100%. Well, if he's on the 905, he's still on the team. He's just not on the main roster and stuff like that. I don't know. We can all disagree on this. And, it doesn't matter. I have no ego in this. Like, if I'm completely wrong about Justin Champagnie and where I think what's going to happen here, I'm fine with it. You guys have to think about that too. So everybody kind of check your ego with what we think is going to happen with the franchise as far as the cuts and stuff, because it could be all kinds of different ways and different things and stuff like that. And we don't know. Bobby knows best. Masai knows best. Nick knows best. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, cool cat, tell us about Scotty on Twitch, please. She wasn't there either. I already talked to her. She wasn't there. None of us were there except for Shane, from what you said. Shane said he was there. You weren't there. I wasn't there. Cool cat wasn't there. So, yeah, none of us were there. So Logical saying, I'm opening to win the chip this year. Yeah, I'm hoping we win the chip this year also. I really want us to win the chip this year. CC saying, I'm interested to join in on a private box. Yeah, it's too bad they're really expensive. They're like $4,000 a game. So it's like we'd have to get like 20 people, and it'd probably be like over $200 anyway and stuff like that. I just don't know if it's really worth it and stuff like that. And maybe better just to get seats like we're talking about. Peter saying Raps already know who will make the team. I don't think they do. I really don't think they do, Peter. I think that not tonight, tomorrow night when they play in Montreal against Boston, they'll have more of a clue, and then they'll go from it there and see what's going on, stuff like that. Cool Cat saying, no, Tom, no snitching from Twitch. I mean, I don't even know if it's called Twitch snitching, if like he's already putting all that information out publicly and stuff like that. I'm a fun guy. I've maybe seen Holiday and Giannis twice, maybe twice, and no Middleton and Brook Lopez played once and Baca once. Yeah. Well, like we said, preseason, let's not read into it too much. Milwaukee's going to be a good team. It's just that, they didn't really care about their preseason, stuff like that. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, laughing. All right. Nako's saying KOLOKO, Scotty, and Precious are going to be the dynasty core. I like that. Those three guys are great guys to have going into the future, and they're studs. I'm really excited about the Raptors' future with these young guys. G says, I think Gary will start most games. We need his spacing and shooting. I believe it's the center spot that will change game to game, but ready for anything Nurse does. He even said yesterday, once again, that he's okay with starting those five every single game. And it may be because he wants them to be getting the starter stats. They say, oh, Scotty was a starter every single game he started. But then again, he could turn around and take him out 2 minutes in the game and put Ken Burch in. And that's kind of what his strategy is, what he did last year. is that he'll let those starters start, the starting five that he believes is our most talented five players. And if it's not working, then boom, Ken Birch right away at the like 2 minutes in the game for Scotty Barnes. And that's what he's going to do. He kind of said it again yesterday that is his strategy for dealing with this issue. If we're having problems with the center on the other end, he wants to let them try and play and be talented, the talented team. And then if it's not working, boom, bigger size comes in right away. Nick said it again. So I think he cares about something about like these guys getting starters, the start stat on their stat line. Like Scotty got starts all last year. He started every single game he played last year. He never ever didn't start. And that may be something symbolic that they need to do with them, even if they change the lineup right away into the game and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. I think he's also said Gary's made his spot and he's not losing it. So that's good that Nick came out and said that, because he probably heard the noise going on about Gary Trent maybe not starting. And he's like, no, I want to quiet this stuff. So he's really being preemptive about a lot of things, whether it was telling us that Chris Boucher won't be playing in Montreal. He's letting people know ahead of time so they won't be disappointed. He's also telling people, well, don't expect Gary Trent to come out of the starting lineup because he's earned his spot and we like him starting. And I think what G's saying is so important for our team right now. The spacing and shooting is so important. So it's a no-brainer. Gary should probably start. And that's probably what's going to continue to happen, stuff like that. Peter's saying, Juancho is on the team. Peter Saborn's going, Juancho, you're on the team. Okay, fun guy saying, so a bit disappointed to play all our starters and struggle, but conditioning is an issue. And hey, 2-2 so far, not bad at all. Yeah, this is the best way to look at it. And if we win tomorrow night, we'll be 3-2, have a winning record in preseason. Not that it really matters, but still, that's better than 0-5 like the Bucks. And yeah, I mean, we struggled at times with the starters, but I think it really is because Nick took the opportunity to try new things with our offense with them, and it just didn't click or work right and stuff like that. So this is the thing. He could easily revert to bread and butter things that worked last year for sure, and we may see a much more capable team either tomorrow night or obviously for the first game of the season. That he's not doing the exact same thing that he did last year with our offense. And it showed. That's why we were a little janky and not really kind of making it work and stuff like that. So they're trying out. They're experimenting. Peter's saying, yeah, Sue, yeah. Yeah. Monique saying Saborin brothers are so picky on Ron Harper. So picky. Picky. Yeah, I want Ron to show up and do something, because in some ways he is kind of similar to not Josh Jackson, to Justin Champagnie, that he hasn't shown us anything. And that I can make an argument for him getting switched out of the two-way and giving it to one of these other guys that have shown more and stuff like that. I wish he'd just show up. Cool Cat saying conservatives are becoming one global group all over. Yeah, it's scary. Like they're really like sharing secrets about how to be more fascist and how to take more rights away from people. Like they share secrets on how to gerrymander and change voting rules to hurt people from being able to vote and stuff like that. This is not the party you want to support. They want to take our freedoms away more and more. They may want you to think that the other side's the one taking freedoms away, but no, that's the side that's protecting them and wanting to make things better for the world. The conservative side wants to disenfranchise us, wants us to go to another level of control over us. And it's evidenced with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. That, this stuff happens in the States. Yeah, we're another country up here, but there are anti-abortion people up here that will want to take the right to choose away from women up here also. And this is why this fight is so important. Like, it's really scary in the States. Like, if things go wrong in November with the election and it does really turn very conservative, that country may be going to a new place that nobody has ever seen, that is going to be really dark and ugly. And I don't want our country to mimic them in any kind of way here in Canada. So we need to say no and reject all conservative ideology, because at this point it's full of hate and it's full of control and dictatorship. And we do not want that in Canada. The states are making all the wrong moves, stepping in doo-doo left and right. They should have gotten Trump in trouble and put in jail, an example of, and they haven't done that. They failed to do that. So now it's a little bit out of control. And it's going to be really bad if the election doesn't go well in November next month in the States. and the right people win, that's good. But if the wrong people win, then say goodbye to democracy in the United States. It's going to be real ugly down there, and we don't want to be like them. We really, really don't. Fun guy saying, I actually like Justin Trudeau. I don't mind the guy. I know a lot of people hate him, but people sewer him. But I don't want to talk about him too much because I know that he brings out emotions on both sides and stuff like that. Peter saying, Stacked is on Bathurst in front. Okay, so it's down near. Okay, I know where you're talking about. Bathurst in front. Oh, wow. So it's all the way down there. Okay, so it's near the bridge that's starting to go to Fort York over near there. Okay, that's not far from y'all's place, right, Peter? That's not far from where you guys live. Mike saying my unplug gave me clarity into, in my opinion, this summer and preseason aren't to be end all be all. Their history is an equation, and like last couple weeks are a small part. Okay, well, this is still your reasoning for why you think that Justin's going to make it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the NBA since the 1980s, and I really, really paid really close attention to the Raptors and their camp battles over decades, like not just like recently. I mean, I'm talking about in the 2000s and stuff like that. And I'm just going by patterns and things that I know from like long, long, long time of watching. And it just looks like this, but we'll have to see what happens. Summer League matters. Rico Hines runs matter. Malachi playing the pro-ams matter. This all matters. You want to look good. You want to look like you're showing something more. And these are all platforms and stages to do it. Like the stuff at AmeriCup for Dalano, huge, huge. So I wouldn't poo-poo any of the off-season stuff and say that it's not the end all be all, because it's actually kind of like, well, this is scouting and this is us actually seeing them and seeing where they're at with their game. I don't know if Justin's progressed or regressed this summer because I haven't seen him. He has not shown whether he's gotten better. He's looked worse, in fact, and that may mean he's regressed. He's not actually better than he was at the end of the G League season when he did look really sharp. That's the problem. We got to see where they are presently, present time. I don't care what they did last season. They could shit the bed and be a totally different player this year. That's why we have to see how he is and where he is now and stuff like that. Raymond took his message back. Cool Cat saying, regarding Norm, we really missed his drives to the rim and dunks, in addition to the swoosh threes and the really good defense, like around the top of the key. Like it's Gary kind of has taken over that kind of stuff, but Norman really did a lot of that really good cutting into the lane and getting steals by jumping into the passing lane of the other team. And he was so good at that. And he's got these crazy hands too. Like a very big hands and very strong person, Norman Powell, and stuff like that. So I miss him too. But I like I said, I don't like going down the road we've already been down unless it makes sense, unless it's a good deal or something like that. Sure, I'd love to have a feel good tour with the Raptors once again later in his career, near the end of it, and so he can come and be with us again. Sure, but I don't know if now is the right time, and the price might not be right. Click saying that's what happened in Quebec last week was elections for the premier. All of Montreal voted for different parties, but the majority of people outside of Quebec who are very old voted the same idiot. This is what happens here in Ontario also. This is what happened with the premier vote this past year when Doug Ford won again. You know, they messed up all the seats in downtown Toronto. They took away some of the seats. And that messed up the election. It's more heavily weighted outside of Toronto. My vote here in Toronto isn't worth as much as somebody's vote, say, out in Thunder Bay or, you know, somewhere in northern Ontario. We're weighted in a wrong way where we don't get as much representation being in the city. And it's very much that way there, too. And this is part of what I'm talking about with election rules and changing things to game the system for that side. In fact, the conservative side in the United States and in Canada have to game it because they don't win normally. They have to cheat to win. And a lot of times when conservatives win, there is cheating involved by gerrymandering, changing council seats, you know, all kinds of different stuff. They did something in the provincial election earlier this year where they changed voting sites for people in the city. I'm voting at the same place I voted for all kinds of places, but the last election, they had me voting in a whole other location. They just do insidious little things like that. It's as simple as like in Florida Highway Patrol people would stand on the road and check people and they would intimidate black people from coming to the polls and voting. They basically say, yeah, we're going to check you and see if you have any outstanding warrants, if you have any kind of issues at all, and we will intimidate you. So these people would stay home. They didn't even want to try and vote because they didn't want to have to be harassed by police that were standing outside, kind of making it hard for them to go in there without intimidation. So there's all kinds of dirty tactics used to disenfranchise votes or make your vote not fair. The fair vote movement here in Canada is very strong. Go look it up, fair vote, and find out just how lopsided representation is for the counties outside or the parts of the country. The rural voters have more power in elections in Canada than the people who live in the city. And the people in the city, there's way more of us. And there's also way more of us causing economic drive. We should have just as much equal power as the people in the country. But in Canada, that's not the case right now. My vote is probably worth maybe a third or a half or 2/3 of a vote of somebody who lives north of Toronto in Ontario somewhere. And that is it's really bad. It's really, really bad, really, really bad and stuff like that. I hate to hear that, Click, that happened in your election. That's why we need to go do this and make sure we vote and get the right people to make the system better for us and more representative of everybody, a real democracy. Logical saying overreacting like last season wasn't real isn't logical. I'm not saying that you're overreacting. I'm just saying that once again, G League is different than main roster. Justin did really good things in G League, but that doesn't necessarily mean shit. There's a lot of guys who do good things in G League, but just are G League players. I mean, I don't think that G League stats are that impressive in some ways. You're not playing against the main league and the best teams. You're playing against lesser talent, and you can have good stats down there. So I look at stats from Juancho at Eurobasket and look at them with way more respect and stuff like that. I know I've said that this week already, stuff like that. And fun guys saying, laugh my ass off. Like, I don't get it. What is Champagnie? A guard, a forward? What are his real skills? Laughing my ass off. I'd take Wilson over Champagnie, man. I mean, I'm really with this because in some ways he is a betweener. They say he's an undersized forward, and that right there says that he's coming up against a limitation in some ways. He has things to overcome just because of his size and the position he plays. And sure, it's admirable that he can do it at his size and stuff like that, but that's already a detriment to him. It's his size, just in the fact that he's called an undersized power forward or undersized guard. That right there is a cue that, like, okay, well, we don't have to have undersized people on our team because we have a lot of big people. So that's what I'm saying. What does he add? And once again, if his best, strongest skill is offensive rebounding, well, we've got tons of that. We've got all kinds of people that have that kind of water to carry on our team. So that's what I'm saying. His real skills are offensive rebounding and hustle and shooting threes. And all that's duplicated with other people in different ways and stuff like that. So Cool Cat saying, I think KOLOKO start from time to time. Justin joins Raptors 905 for further development. Banton development show what Justin is missing. Yeah, and Dalano, it's not fair totally to compare Dalano to Justin because Dalano really was a draft pick. Justin was undrafted. And that's the other thing y'all don't realize. Undrafted players don't all get in the league. It's not just automatic. Oh, you're in the NBA. You got to make it. Undrafted players get cut and only play 1 year and they're done. That's just the truth of it. That happens all over the league every single year. And so you guys got to realize a perspective here. He wasn't drafted. He's not like he's even a second round pick. So I think there's a little bit too much weight on what Justin does for our team. And you guys, in some ways, you got to be realistic in that way. Let's see. Logical saying, fun guy, a 26-year-old ceiling player versus 21-year-old at closer to his floor. I don't know, bro. I would say DJ Wilson is not really totally near his ceiling. I think that there's some things he can do that are even better and more consistent over time. It's hard to say who's ceiling and floor and where what is and what and all this kind of stuff. I think DJ is the better player. I just think that myself. I'm a fun guy. If Champagnie had a ceiling, I'd be on board. But guy has no real skill, just a random do things player. In some ways, he's right. Like, I was this kind of player when I played in the beginning before I could shoot. I was just a hustle, gritty guy, but I wasn't essential to the team. And I wasn't really like one of the most important players on my team at that time. I really was just a role player off the bench that came out there to bring energy. And I wasn't that important or integral to the team and stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Toby's here. Good to see Toby. Thanks for the sub. You're right. We should be thinking tank. No, no, Toby, no tanking. We don't have Aaron Baines. We're not tanking. Nameless is saying, yo, logical. I'm comparing Justin to his peer group. Yeah, I mean, we can. Who's his peer group? Scotty and Dalano. I mean, it's not fair to compare Scotty to Justin, obviously, but Dalano is somewhat fair. And the other person you should be comparing Justin Champagnie to is David Johnson. And where is he now? What are we talking about, David Johnson? Where's all the David Johnson stands? That could have been like, oh, we should have kept David Johnson. Where's David Johnson? Well, Justin Champagnie's more like David Johnson in some ways than he is Dalano Banton. So let's just put it that way. If we're looking at things relative, David Johnson was a second round pick and he's off our team now. He's not in our system anymore. He's gone, one and done. There's no reason why Justin doesn't necessarily have the same fate. And that's what I'm saying. It's that cutthroat. It's a business. We want to have the best team. The picture says win on it in the thumbnail for this stream. That's what we want to do. That's what the only thing we care about is winning. We don't care about being sentimental and making people feel good because Justin's on the team. Who gives a fuck about that? We just want to win. And if him being on the team makes us win more, okay. But if him is a better spot for somebody else to be in, then I want that person. It's all about the win. And we can't be sentimental about Justin. We really, really can't, y'all. And I think Nameless is right. If he's comparing him to David Johnson, compare him to David Johnson, compare him to Dalano Banton. Those are the two closest people that you should compare Justin Champagnie to. Forget about DJ Wilson. Forget about Josh Jackson. Forget about all them. Look at look at DJ David Johnson and see where he is right now. And that he is closer to David Johnson than he is to Dalano Banton. And that's what I'll say right there. All right, let's see. Logical saying, fun guy. They said the same thing about Siakam at the draft. Siakam was a draft pick. Siakam was drafted in the first round. There's all kinds of differences. This is a totally different thing. He's not Fred VanVleet. Just because they asked him in the interview yesterday, what did Fred tell you about making the team, Justin? He said, oh, just keep your dog in the fight. And so, like, sure, he's going to say that, but it's a different kind of thing. Fred's very, very special. And Justin can have some of that drive and that and like that kind of thing, but it may not be enough. Fred had it. Fred had enough. Fred made it. But that is very, very much like very small percentage of people in that kind of position ever make it like that. So Fred is the exception to the rule. It's not like this happens all the time that a dude just comes in undrafted and boom, he rises like Fred did. So we can't expect that with Justin. We cannot. We cannot. Let's see. Tom's saying, get out of here with that thinking, Toby. You got to be joking. Get that garbage out of here, Toby. What is your reasoning? Are you a Sixers fan or something like that? No, let's not call him a Sixers fan. I don't know. Toby just maybe likes Victor a lot, and he wants Victor Newman on his team. So I don't know. I'm not going to get down on Toby Solako. I just appreciate you being here, Raptors Freak, Toby Solako. You know, I don't think tanking's a smart strategy ever. But yeah, you'll find that in here. If you're talking about tanking, we don't like it. Nameless saying DJ has been the most consistent all summer. Yeah, I agree with that to a degree. Out of the guys who are trying to make it, I think Jeff Dowtin's been the most consistent out of all those kind of in the bench guys. But DJ Wilson's not that far behind him. He hasn't looked completely shitty, but he's not looked overly impressive. But he's been right in the middle in a lot of ways. DJ Wilson, stuff like that. Peter's saying there's no way they're keeping DJ and letting JC go, in my opinion. Okay, so Peter's with a logical Raptors fanatic on this. That's what he's saying. We're going to see how it all works out. We only know from what we see. We don't even know what happens in the practice. It could be that Champagnie's doing amazing things behind the doors this week at OVO and stuff, getting ready this week. And like Nick's like, okay, Justin looks good in this way. We don't know. So it's all speculation from our end, what we're doing here today on Think Tank. And it's just we're voicing our different opinions and stuff. We've obviously got a DJ Wilson camp and a Justin Champagnie camp. And we'll just have to see how it all goes. Monique is saying, just a PSA, home opener starts at 7, not 7:30. Get there early. Okay, so next Wednesday, this is really super important what Monique's saying. And I care about this more for this game on Wednesday than any of these preseason games. They jerk the start time around sometimes. And I know people are casual about getting the game on a Wednesday night after work. Don't get there late. Get there early, especially if they start the game at 7 instead of 7:30. Y'all may be trying to get there at 7:30 and you don't realize this. So really pay attention to times for start times because in my opinion, I think Raptor fans should be in their seat and ready for the jump ball. They should not be coming in the middle of the game or showing up fashionably late and stuff like that, especially the people in the lower bowl. That is where we need fans and energy right away. And I want to see that place rocking right from the start at 7 p.m. next Wednesday. That we need that energy come right against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first game of the season. So do your part, Raptor fans. They're going to the game, the season opener. You guys need to get there early. And they may jerk the time around just to not have you guys in the building as early enough. Realize it's 7 o'clock. Monique is giving you a PSA. You have heard it now. A fun guy saying Siakam is a mobile 6'10 forward, bro. Siakam had unrefined skills coming in. He had ball handling at that height. That alone is a skill. Champagnie does have an asset that can grow into expertise. Doesn't. He meant to say doesn't. Yeah, Siakam was a much better prospect. He's taller. He had like certain things about him that, like, I honestly thought he was going to be what Justin's supposed to be now in his career. I had no idea he would do what he did offensively and stuff like that. So I'm really proud of Pascal Siakam and what he's developed into. That's what I'm saying. Pascal and Fred are not normal NBA players. That's why we should really value and want them around as long as possible because their dudes have came from nowhere and made themselves into huge, huge NBA stars. And that is very valuable because, like I said, they came from nowhere. These dudes are not supposed to be doing what they're doing in the NBA at this point. The fact that Pascal has the audacity to say that he wants to be a top 5 player in the NBA this year and he has a realistic chance is saying a whole lot about who he is and what he's done and stuff like that. So Peter's saying JC is so much younger and has shown some value in minimal time. Man, there's so many good young players coming up all the time, though, and stuff like that. And sure, you're going to invest in Malachi and have this time with him. Well, why wouldn't you do it with this? Well, Malachi, in some ways, has got a pedigree coming in, and there's certain things about him that make you want to develop him because there is certain skills that look like they can blossom more. Justin, I don't know. Like, he's never going to be a ball handler. He's never really going to be like, there's certain things he's just never going to develop into or become and stuff like that. I don't know. We can argue the Champagnie thing all day and all night long, and we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to have to say we have different camps, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nameless is saying Juancho has not impressed me at all, and I'm hoping he's saving more for the season. I think he's going to be good. Like, I really think he's going to hit those open threes when he gets open. He's going to be very dependable. I think that you guys will be really happy with how often he hits his three. And then also, we're going to see stuff from him on the rebounding and just he's going to be helpful on defense too. So let's just give him a chance. I don't know if he's going to get to play a whole lot. Like I said, he could end up being like Boban and just being an end of the bench kind of guy that we bring out and people kind of cheer for at the end of the game. They may be like, Bo Cruz, Bo Cruz, Bo Cruz. And then we bring him out and he's like our human victory cigar. There's different players you have on your team kind of for that. And like, it's not like it's valid or important or anything, but that happens. People like want to have fun guys that are at the end of the bench that they like to see get in the game. And it may be Bo Cruz this year. Let's see. I know that was doesn't from your other thing that you said earlier. Logical saying, fun guy. Let's agree to disagree and wait to see. Both of us could be wrong. Yeah, who knows? It could be Josh Jackson and DJ Wilson and Champagnie are both cut. That it's Josh Jackson making the team instead of those. So there's a couple of different ways that we could be wrong, all of us or whatever. Cool Cat saying DJ Wilson's free throw is pure. 3-pointer, mid-range, plus his defense at 6'10". Juancho's IQ is good. What he did a lot of screening, move without the ball in defense. Yeah, Cool Cat noticed the intangibles that Juancho has done and the very little bits of – he hasn't really played a whole lot in preseason also. He comes out, he maybe hits a three, does a couple screens, a couple rebounds, and that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's had solid minutes, and his plus-minus has been good in almost all games he's played for the Raptors in preseason. So, and I like what she's saying about DJ Wilson. I think it's true. He has he's a good free throw shooter. He has a very nice 3-point stroke, and his defense is getting better. That's the thing I like. Fun guy saying, for sure, logical. Not saying you're wrong or anyone is, just saying what Champagnie is showing to me. And we all have different perception and stuff like that. So we're just gonna have to see what the perception of the front office and Nick Nurse is and stuff like that. We'll have to see. Logical saying DJ Wilson is done, in my opinion. He hasn't took a step and had time and options, so it's over for him, in my opinion. See, I could say the same thing about Justin. Exactly what you said. I could say the same thing. He hasn't taken the next step. He's had time. It's over for him. DJ actually has taken some steps, though. That's the thing. He didn't look as good on our defense last year during the season in his 10-day contracts and stuff like that. But this summer in the preseason, he's looked way better as far as switching and not being a defensive liability. That was the problem last year, was he was getting beat and looking like not very good defender. Well, he's fitting in now. So there is some progress there. You just got to look a little deep. He's had some time and he's actually looking better. Let's see. Logical saying, no doubt. It's all opinions. Yeah. Fun guy saying, I do think ceiling right now is unrelated when not talking about Scotty, Precious, OG, and Gary. Ceiling is for star potential. We need now players, not testing the ceiling of a 21-year-old Champagnie. Yeah, something that's not going to be, it may never show up. So why invest the time and stuff like that if there's something that just isn't there eventually? These guys have metrics and ways of kind of seeing where maybe this is where this guy's ceiling is and stuff like that. And he's exactly right. The ceiling, that word only really applies to players like Scotty and Precious and guys like that. I would even say Delano's ceiling is important at this point too. But I don't understand. Yeah, all right. We will move away from this subject. I know this was going to be a big part of what we're going to talk about today. And it is what we should be talking about it now, stuff like that. It's important. All right, let me keep going. Okay, there's some political talk in there. We'll get to that. I will catch up on everything, guys. It jumped ahead, so I have to figure out where I was in my place. Okay, logical saying the 15th man matters less today than tomorrow. Not gonna lie, Champagnie gets on H for me. Okay, so yeah, I can see your reasoning for that. It's the 15th. Go ahead and sign a flyer on him and continue to see where he goes and develops from, because we have time invested in him and he's a good part of our team. Okay, I can understand that reasoning. And then the 15th person doesn't really matter anyway. So why is it a big deal if we pick Champagnie instead of Wilson, stuff like that? Quick saying, Bucks also had to fly to Dubai, possibly jet lag, for reasons why they're 0-5 in the preseason. So they lost both the games to Atlanta in Abu Dhabi or Dubai. Yeah, crazy. Fun guy saying, I hope people don't think we're arguing, my guy Logical, just giving the fan base our perspectives. Yeah. And this is the way you guys are doing it healthy. There's nothing wrong here and stuff like that. I like that Mike is standing up for Justin Champagnie. So is Peter and stuff like that. You know, it's good that we have dissenting opinions and we can talk about it from different perspectives, which really, really is good. He's saying Champagnie will show more in the long run, in my opinion. He has it and will be a Fred VanVleet for us development-wise. Yeah, that's not going to happen. He won't be anywhere near like Fred VanVleet. He'll be lucky if he makes the team, is what I'm saying right now. There's no way he's going to be like Fred in the end. G saying Raptors traveled over 5 days, the same mileage to China and some 8,000 miles, though different time changes. And that's exactly why people can't freak out over the preseason. Yeah. Agreed with that. Click saying, I see us trading for a reliable 3-point shooter at the deadline. Yeah, maybe like somebody like Buddy Hield or Eric Gordon, or, there's a couple of guys out there that might be available in different places. Logical saying the Brissett mistake haunts Messiah, and he ends up taking the younger guy this time. Brissett, yeah, when we didn't take Brissett and like he went to Indiana, I don't know if we really feel that bad about losing Brissett. I know he's turned into a great player on Indiana and stuff like that, but that was a calculated, let him go kind of thing in some ways and stuff. I don't know. I mean, we can kind of look at how they did things last year. They took Bonga. Bonga was the pick over Sam Decker and Ish Wainwright and Reggie Perry. So the three players that got cut last year were Reggie Perry, Sam Decker, and Ish Wainwright. And Ish Wainwright went to Phoenix and he stuck with them and he's on their team again this year. Sam Decker ended up going overseas and Reggie Perry ended up doing what Gabe Brown's going to do. So think about it that way. Why did we pick Bonga last year? Well, he fit our mold of what we were trying to do with Vision 6'9" the best out of those candidates. He had ball handling skills, he could block shots, he could rebound, he could pass. And that dude was the end of the bench guy from last year. Where is he now? He's not on the team at this point. So that's what we got to understand. The skin of the snake of this team, it sheds every year, and parts of the shedding come off. And Justin may just be part of that shedding this year, and that's just how it is. Like DJ, David Johnson, Isaac Bonga, Yuta Watanabe, Steve Mahalik. These guys have all been shed already, and I don't know why. I'm just saying we're gonna have to see which look is the one that is more attractive to them. Nick Nurse has said offense. He's really wanting offense with the last position on the roster. All right, let's see. Click saying, all I know is that Jeff Dowtin should be our third point guard. I would even like it if he runs guard with Dalano simultaneously. Two good passers and two people who can get to the rim. I like that look too. I really do like Dalano playing off the ball like he did in Summer League. He did some cool stuff in Vegas when he could be like more of a scorer and not worry about handling the ball and play off of it. So I like this look too. And I think this is a really interesting thing that you're going to have to try and discover over the season. So hang on a sec. Okay, so Chev was talking about this too. Fun guy saying that Dalano at the 2 and Dowtin at 1. That's a good guard bench combo. Yeah, I like it too. I like it. I think it's going to be good. Fun guy saying facts. Gee, sorry for making it seem like I'm really concerned. I'm barely concerned. I think it's just conditioning. Yeah. Okay. We're not worried about the Raptors. Logical saying DJ Wilson wasn't even able to run against the summer league teams. Not going to lie. He's not what will be good for us. We need to think about how this team will look in the future. He did play in summer league and he was okay. He had a couple of bad stuff, but for the most part, he was there. He was healthy and he played pretty good in summer league. I don't know what you're watching, man. I don't know what you're watching. If you're talking about how good this team will be in the future, well, the future is possibly getting Larry O'Brien next spring. He may be able to help us way more on a playoff roster, just as far as like he has more experience. He's more vet. There's all kinds of different things that he can help us in the near future. More than Justin can. I don't see Justin rising up this season and being so great that he makes our rotation and gets regular time on the main roster. I don't see Justin in the springtime doing big things for us in a playoff run. I could see DJ Wilson doing good spot role player kind of things in that situation. And it really is like, listen, I've watched DJ Wilson for a couple of years now. And he was really good against the Raptors when we played them in the playoffs like 3 or 4 years ago. That during the championship run, he was on the Bucks when we played them in that series where we beat them. And he was a part of their rotation at that time. That's the Bucks, just a year away or two from winning the championship themselves. So you got to have a little bit more understanding of the body of work of these different players. That Justin really doesn't have much of a body of work. DJ Wilson actually does. So there's some things that are not lining up as far as the way you look at DJ Wilson and what the reality of what his career has been already. And some of the things that he does really already bring more solidly to the team and stuff like that. So G saying, oh no, you not you, fun guys. Some fans are taking it very seriously and declaring lottery team already. I agree their conditioning and energy did look off. These are people who are chicken littling. And we don't chicken little here. There's nothing wrong with this team. We're going to be fine. They think that we're the bad already. They're crazy. Evelyn's here. Good to see Evelyn. Good morning. I'm speaking of Pascal Siakam. His brother Christian hired our Filipino chef friend to cook for them last night. Awesome, Evelyn. That's awesome. Maybe they have a cool story about seeing Christian and Pascal and hanging out with them and stuff like that. Very cool insider Raptor Freak news that Evelyn has a friend who was cooking for the Siakam brothers last night. That's awesome. Fun guy saying all our problems can be fixed if we trade Malachi. Then we keep everyone. I don't know. G thinks that's cool about Evelyn. I think that's awesome too. I'm sure that food was really good. Logical saying, not gonna lie, we will see. I'm fine with being wrong, but I see what I see. Yeah, we'll have to see about this, and we'll find out within the next week. We're gonna find out by Wednesday. So, all right, Evelyn's saying Chef M was so surprised how down to earth Pascal and Chris were. That's awesome. Well, Pascal's just a badass. I love Pascal so much. He is so cool. Duke's saying, all right, fantasy question. If you have a player GTD or injured in non-bench spot, and that player didn't play, does it count as a game played? No, no. If they don't play, they don't count as one of the games scored for that slot for the year. So don't worry about that. If they are supposed to play and they don't play at all, it doesn't count. Okay. So yeah, that's a great question and no problem. Duke's also saying, also, do you have to have all your non-bench slots filled? You mean like you can just have an open roster spot and like have a flexibility of getting anybody at any time? Sure, you can do that. Like if you have an injured player that you put in the IL and you have one open spot that you just want to have flexibility to go grab anyone, yeah, you can sit like that as long as you want. You may want to go and get somebody and just be able to switch people out in and out. But no, you don't have to have every single part of your bench filled if you switch somebody to the IL and you have an open roster spot, you can just sit with it being open for a while. Hey, good morning, Mason Culligan. Good to see Raptor Freak Mason Culligan in the morning. Clicks here. Nick mentioned that in terms of who he will keep, he's looking mainly at offense. Yeah, he did definitely say. He said this like twice in the last couple weeks or so. Patrick Douglas is saying it's preseason, freaks. Understand the process, please. Yes, very wise words. Monique saying more free throws tomorrow, guys. More free throws. Shoot more in practice and practice them and make them and get to 80% as a team shooting free throws. And yeah, let's get more calls. I love that Precious was talking about that and saying, please, referees, give us more calls so we can get to the line and make more points. Give us some calls. They're fouling us. Click saying, to be fair, Trudeau has been controlling us the last 2 years and admires China. Ooh, I don't know about all that. I know we get into this part where we talk about Trudeau, and I know we have people that don't like him and stuff like that. Controlling us. You mean because of the pandemic and stuff like that? Well, world leaders had to do that for a bit just to be safe and stuff like that. I know people have problems with mandates and stuff like that. But listen, he did responsible things as a leader, and I'm glad he did them like that. I'd much rather be more careful and lose less people in a pandemic than have like things happen like in the States. It's crazy how many people died in the States because people just didn't do the right thing as leaders in the United States when the pandemic happened and stuff like that. So I don't know about China. He admires China. I don't know about that. I don't know about that stuff. Duke's saying the three big parties in Canada are the Libs, the NDP, and the Conservatives. Two are Liberal and one is NDP. For me, here lies the problem. I have seen so many ridings go con because of the split vote. I know the three-party system here, the NDP and the Liberals kind of splitting each other kind of does mess things up. I totally agree with this. There's a lot of problems with government. It's gamed. It's like they're Milton Bradley and they want to write the rules to help themselves as they go and stuff like that. I don't know. We just need to vote. That's our power in itself. We need to vote and try and get better candidates and better election results and better people in charge is the very, very important thing to do in the near future for all of it. NDP is best friends with liberals. Yeah, I mean, they got to be a coalition because of the way what you just described, Duke just described. They have to work together because of the way the percentages go and stuff like that. Duke's saying two lean liberals versus one. That's what you meant. Yeah, I knew that's what you meant, actually. Duke's also saying, I prefer to vote NDP, but I feel forced to vote liberal so conservative doesn't get in power. I know I get this feeling too at times and stuff like that. And strategic voting is a good strategy to have as far as like look in your riding or where you live and see if you know which one of those choices is the better one to defeat the conservatives. I'm totally behind that kind of thinking too. I will vote liberal if that will help. But I am more NDP, and that is who I will vote for default wise. But if it's strategically smarter to vote for the liberals for some reason, then I will in that way too. So let's see. I know Isaac's a big booster of the NDP. NDP is fighting to get dental health care for kids who cannot otherwise afford it. Liberals voted against that in their parliament recently. So NDP is twisting their arm and making the best of it. Like I said, I love the things that Jagmeet's doing right now, going after the grocery stores for price gouging right now. And this is true. They want to get free healthcare with dental stuff for kids. It's like one party wants to privatize healthcare and make us more like the States, which is having people die younger and have worse health outcomes because of the for-profit healthcare system down there. The conservatives want to change us to more like the states in that way. Meanwhile, the NDP is trying to expand the free healthcare into dental. And that is huge. That's great. And that's why I am a staunch NDP supporter, just like my good friend Isaac Campbell, who sent me this keychain with the care package that he said. Yeah. But yeah, I'm for NDP, but I'll vote liberal if it's strategically the right thing to do also. Click saying, everyone says my vote matters, but does it really matter when the person I'm voting for has no chance at winning? Shaking my head. We got to start somewhere. And you at least want to get in the habit of doing it. They want us to be apathetic and not stand up and take our votes. In fact, that's part of the way that they control us, between gerrymandering, not fair of equal vote balance, and also, just apathy. They want you to think it doesn't matter or it doesn't care. That's how they win. That's how they win. Half of it is by people just not giving a shit and say, well, what does it matter if I vote or not? That's the exact reason why you need to vote, is because they're counting on you to act that way and think that way. And I really love what's happening in the state of Georgia in the United States right now. There's so many black people there that have not voted for years and years because they've been disenfranchised. Well, the election that happened with the governor race the last time with Stacey Abrams and Brian Kemp showed that it's rigged and it's awful. And well, they've made it more of a movement, a grassroots movement out there to register black people to vote in the state of Georgia. And it helped swing the election with Biden and Trump in that election. That Georgia was a state that went blue. And they are getting more and more blue because they're activating voters that just never voted because they were either intimidated, maybe they were apathetic, maybe they were told that their vote doesn't count anyway. Well, they're all deciding, well, we're going to vote, and they are making it count. And they're turning that state blue, as it should be, because the people there, majority, are that kind of thinking. It's just that there's been a small minority of red and conservatives that have controlled things in that state. Well, they're going to take the power there. And that state is a model for how we can do things in other places, and show that we need to be more enthusiastic about exercising our right to vote, because in some ways it's all we have. So if you don't even do that, it may be rigged and you may lose, and you may feel like, oh, it doesn't matter if I vote for Gil Penaloza. But if you vote for Gil Penaloza and I vote for Gil Penaloza and a bunch of other people in Toronto vote for him, he will get more votes. And even if he loses, they'll see, oh, wait, there's a lot of people that voted for him. So it does give it all matters. Never think that anything you do with voting never matters. It all matters. Trust me. And that's why everybody needs to go do this. I'm going to go do this right after I'm done here. I'm going to go in the backyard, smoke, and then I'm going to walk around to the rec center and I'm going to put my vote in, because it's just the right thing to do. It's the only way we can make change. It's the only way we have a voice, is with our vote. So why wouldn't you want to have a voice, is what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at it. They want people to feel like you click. What is even point? What is even the point? Well, they're winning when we think that way. So we need to go and just do it and be defiant. Canadian Cowboy saying, good morning, everybody. Just saying, what's up? Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Bradley. Canadian Cowboy, Brothers to Dog. If you have any help you need around your house with painting, washing windows, cleaning your carpets, just doing some general remodeling around your house, the Brothers to Dog can help you. They're in the phone book in the 416. Ta-da! For all your home improvement needs. Look them up. They'll be there. Mason saying, a spot is earned in the NBA, not the YMCA. A spot needs to be earned. That's right. That's right. You can't just be a bump on the log and say, oh, you just given this spot. You have to earn the spot to be on the Raptors this year. This is a prestigious spot, this 15th spot, the last man on the Toronto Raptors this year. This is prestigious. We want to make sure the person that deserves it the most gets this spot and gets to be on the team this year. To be a Toronto Raptor is something to wear with pride. And to be on that team is an honor. And that is an earned spot. That is not a spot that is just given because you're friends with people or because people like you. It's because you're a good basketball player and we want to be the best team we can be. Yeah. Click saying, I just don't like how cocky he is for someone who's struggling to make the team. Well, I think he's humbled at this point. I don't think he's doing any sunning right now. I mean, he sees the writing on the wall and that he may be cut. And he cut all that shit out, but it may be too late. It's like I only remember him from sunning this summer. Like I said earlier this summer, I said, you may only be remembered for being that guy who sunned people. And that's what you'll be remembered for the rest of your life is that, oh, yeah, I remember Justin Champagnie. He sunned people. Well, okay, that's what you're going to be known for. It won't be known for the offensive rebounding. It won't be known for anything you did on the court. It'll be known for you interrupting interviews. Is that what you want your legacy to be, Justin Champagnie? It may be too little too late that you're humbled about this now and that you're not trying to go sun people and be all cocky and stuff like that. That was part of why we don't like him, Logical, is because he was a little out of bounds with being a little arrogant. He didn't earn it. He did not earn to be that cocky. All right, let's see. Logical saying, like I said, we'll see. All right, Click saying, and then there's Jackson, who I like, but I hate how he's forcing everything last game. He's not consistent. It's just too bad. He's just not going to be consistent. We need more Jeff Dowtins on this team, consistent. And Josh Jackson is not necessarily consistent. We've seen one really good game against Boston. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, more and more, though, I'm getting used to the business side of winning. I'm emotionally attached to Pascal, Fred, OG, Scotty, Dalano, Precious, KOLOKO. Everyone else is up for the market. Yeah. I mean, everybody has their favorites and stuff like that, but we have to remember this is a business. And if we have our core, we have our important people, they may do some deals that we don't necessarily like because of emotional ties to certain players and stuff like that. They don't do this frivolously, though. I like that, at least, that they're not just doing trades to make this for the sake of doing trades, that they really want to try and stay as intact as possible and make little changes around it instead of like big, huge changes all the time and stuff like that. I really appreciate that about the Raptors. Rahul's here. We haven't seen Rahul in so long. I appreciate you being back here, Rahul. We missed you this summer, and I hope you'll come and play trivia again with us again. But good to see you, Rahul, number 27. Victor Wembanyama is the Raptors' ideal player. So Rahul is liking a tank scenario to get to Victor. I don't like that. I think that's silly. But you know what? He's a great player. I want to see him in a Spurs jersey next year. Yeah, Victor on Spurs. That's what I'm looking for. Click saying, I'm surprised I don't see a lot of hype with Jeff Dowtin. He's been an incredible pickup so far. I think a lot of people do like Jeff Dowtin, and we are talking a lot about him. It's just he's kind of just like about him. He's very understated, just very matter of fact, and just like goes about his business and does what he does. Well, maybe that's kind of mirrored in like the hype about him also. It's like, oh, it's just steady. He's just doing what he does and stuff like that. But I know Stevie Roots called me after one of the games with Jeff Dowtin. He said, that dude Dowtin is really good. He's like my new favorite. I think it was after the Utah game in Edmonton when he had that guy sit down at half court. Stevie Roots was calling me like raving about Jeff Dowtin Jr. He's like, who is this guy and where did he come from? You want to know more about him. I agree. He's a gem. G's right. Let's see. Death's here. Good morning. How's life? Good to see you, Death. Life is good. And how's the other side? I will ask you that, sir. Is it good in 4K? Let's see. Duke saying, love Dowtin. I feel he should be a rotation player. He might end up being by the end of the year. Like I said, I'm making a bold prediction that Jeff Dowtin Jr. is going to be converted from a two-way to be a regular contract, and he will be on our playoff roster in the spring when we're going in the playoffs and stuff. So Logical saying shock incoming. We'll have to see. We'll see who's shocked and who is predicted the right cuts. Fun guy saying, bro, it's crazy how Jeff Dowtin is not disappointed once all the way since summer league, and he's so clutch. My God, kind of like Chris Paul end game general play clutch, just very measured and steady. And yeah, he is good. He doesn't get scared, or like he knows how to work within himself and within the game. We'll have to see how he is on the higher levels, though. The pressure gets even higher in the NBA, and especially in a clutch time situation, a regular season game. Yeah, I want to see Jeff in those kind of situations. And I do think he hasn't had very much dead spots. He hasn't been absolutely perfect, but he's been really good more often than not, than like not doing anything. G's saying, what's tough about this is some players are rhythm players, and short stints in games may not show the entire picture. Thinking practices will have a big impact on whom they choose. Yeah, I think this is true. Like there's so much internally that we just don't see, and that is taken into account with their factoring in of who's going to make the team. And that's why we are not educated to make these opinions. because we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what the coaching staff is valuing more or what is more important. Although Nick did say offense, so we do know a little. Fun guy saying, laugh out loud. Answers lie within Malachi. Listen, like I said, Malachi's a good trade chip if he gets his game up this year. If he shows he's a capable kind of guard in this league, we could trade him and get something very valuable for him. But we need to give him like good trade stock, get his trade stock up by playing him and making him look good and stuff like that. G saying, for a true democracy, they need term limits for how long a single person can stay in power, in my opinion. This goes for every party in every position. Yes, especially in the States, as far as with the congressmen down there and things like that. And the things like with even the Supreme Court justices, in some ways, they've been talking about maybe they need term limits and stuff like that. I agree with this, that like people get too ensconced and become such establishment politicians that they only work for their own interests. And they stop working for the people at a certain point. Well, if you want to be in charge, you want to earn the vote, you got to do it during a certain time, and you only get power for a certain place. You can't be ensconced and be a career politician. I'm so sick of career politicians. These motherfuckers that are just coming in and they just know the game and they game the system. We need people that get switched in and out and that they're the right and the good people and stuff like that. Click saying Malachi having a good season can change many things with our team and our results. I agree with this. He could be a very nice, pleasant surprise this year that a lot of people will be like, wow, okay, he's finally arrived. And like, all right, this is awesome. He's shown signs, and I think he might get there this year. Monique saying, not Raptors news, but did you see how terrible T-Wolves City jersey is? Also, congratulations, Terrence Davis, on getting engaged. All right. Congratulations to Terrence Davis II on getting engaged. I didn't know about that. Monique bringing the news. It's kind of like Entertainment Tonight news. Terrence Davis got engaged yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that jersey from Minnesota. It kind of looks like an old Denver Nuggets jersey with the rainbow city kind of stuff. It's got kind of colors in the middle. It also kind of looks like a Euro basketball team jersey, which is interesting, having Rudy Gobert on that team and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if it's ugly. I wouldn't say it's ugly. It's just different. It doesn't even really kind of look like a Minnesota like jersey. Like how it's connected to the Timberwolves is weird. It's a very strange jersey. I'd have to find out what the story is behind the design of it and why they made that. We might be surprised. It may make a lot of sense after we find out. But it is weird. I don't know if it's terrible. It's just different, and it doesn't look like a Minnesota jersey. That's for sure. G saying, speaking individuals, not party. Talking about term limits. Yeah. Yeah. And Click's also saying, that's what I'm saying. He's not humble. He's humbled now. He's totally humbled now. Like if you see Justin talk now, he knows he's in trouble, and he's just very in a quiet kind of like place where I'm like, yeah, I really have my work cut out for me. He's not like very braggadocio and kind of with an air of like, I can come over and sun people and stuff like that. So he's definitely humble now. He's been humble in like the last couple weeks because he sees the writing on the wall in some ways. Click saying, are we getting new city jerseys? I want to know this too. We have not seen any new designs of Raptor jerseys. All these other teams are rolling out these retro jerseys, these awesome new jerseys. And where are our new jerseys, Toronto? Maybe you're waiting till the end, save the best for last. I want to see the new jerseys for the season. Yeah, I don't want to see any jerseys that remind me of Tampa. Click. No, I hate that. Monique saying 905 season starts in 23 days. There's your countdown for the 905 season. The home opener is on 28 days. Awesome. Looking forward to that. Evelyn saying, after all what have been said, facts or rumors about our Toronto Raptors team, at the end of the day, we should all believe in trust and have faith to the Toronto Raptors management. Let's go Raptors. Can I get a just trust Masai? Trust in Masai. One time from the Raptor Free Cult real quick. Trust in Masai. Trust in Bobby. Trust in Nick Nurse. Trust in Fred VanVleet. Trust in Scotty Barnes. Trust in OG Anunoby. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool boys here. All right, I want to see Cool Boy. Let me ask you real quick. Were you in the Twitch last night with Scotty? I want to know what he was going on in there. I was with my family out to dinner, and I didn't even know he was going to get on Twitch yesterday. So, cool boy, were you in the Twitch yesterday? And can you give us a report about what happened on Scotty Barnes' Twitch yesterday? Because I know you're in there. Twitch fan, what up? Punch that like button and hit that subscribe button, or yes, you turn into a Knicks fan. That is hilarious, and I love that. I love that comment so much with the emoticons in the middle of it, and I love that message. Yeah, punch that like button and drop kick that subscribe button. Awesome stuff. Cool boy. And like I said, if you were in there yesterday, tell me what happened. I want to know. Patrick's saying, Alex, please don't encourage contamination of our channel by ignorance of not voting. We vote. The most effective voter suppression is telling voters that there's no difference between candidates. Yes, I completely agree with this, Patrick. We don't want to encourage apathy. Y'all need to know your vote matters in every kind of situation, whether you think it doesn't or not, that we need to just go ahead and go vote still. Even though I'm saying that it's not fair vote, but look, the fair vote thing is something you can look into the platform and the movement and get behind and help support it, because then it can help reform the way elections and the government runs in Canada. That go and look at fair vote, look it up. It's a whole movement about changing the way that we elect here in Canada to make it more representative and fair and stuff like that. Is exactly what it sounds like. So yeah, go ahead, and I don't want anybody to not vote. That's what I'm saying. Everybody just go vote. I don't care if you think it's not the right thing or anything. I don't care who you're voting for. We all need to just do our right and duty and vote. It's so important, guys. Even in these little local elections, this isn't a big federal election. This is a municipal election, but it has ramifications on your local level. So it's always so important to vote. I encourage everyone that's of voting age to go out there and do it. It's your duty as a citizen to help shape your government and represent you. And we will make it a better system over time where it's even more representative of us if we do this. It's the ambulance. Okay, let's see. Cool Boy saying, no, sadly, I wasn't. I went to see the new Halloween Ends Michael Myers movie. Whoa! Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, that's that. I saw the commercial for that last night. It's crazy. Isaac Campbell saying, voting is the best, just like this channel. Thank you, Isaac Campbell. That's right. Vote, and vote again. That's what I'm saying. Not like multiple times where you're doing fraud, but I mean just vote every time there's an election. Tom Duke saying, with all this politic talking, can we just pray or send good vibes to Ukraine for a second? Winter won't be fun over there. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because, yeah, there's a lot of different things. I mean, there's different news coming out from over there that's very encouraging, but there's also very awful travesties like bombings and things that Russia's doing right now that's very immoral. And I love that our leaders here in Canada are standing up and saying that they denounce this stuff and what Russia's doing is wrong and they will pay for it. Yeah, let's say some prayers and think about people in Ukraine and things that they've had to go through in this past year. And hopefully they're ready for this winter, because I know it will be tough over there. Tom, great point. And really also, once again, a great place for us to check ourselves with gratitude. That, people in this world have different things going on in their lives. And as much as bad things are happening for us, sometimes things are worse for other people. And that we kind of need to practice gratitude and be thankful for the things that we have in our life that we're very, very happy and grateful for, like Raptors basketball, and not having to worry about war in our own streets, right where we live and stuff like that. So just a little moment of gratitude. All right. So recapping, y'all, we were talking about the rotations today. Nick Nurse is saying 8 or 9 starters are going to be in a starting rotation. So we're looking at the 5 talented guys, people like KOLOKO, possibly Precious, Chris Boucher, Kem Birch. These can all be added and mixed into the starting lineup as needed for matchups and stuff. Then we got that middle bench kind of guys, like the guys we just said, along with Dalano, Banton, Otto Porter, maybe a little bit of Juancho in there, Thad Young and stuff. And then we have our very end of the bench battles and stuff like that. And it's looking like the two-ways, Dowtin and Harper and Malachi. And then you kind of got, the battle between the 4. We all kind of agreed Gabe Brown's probably a long shot. Josh Jackson, there's some of us that think he should be that guy. But it's really looking like it's shaping up between a Wilson versus Champagnie kind of debate about who that last 15th spot is right now and stuff like that. So Tom Duke saying, go Raptors. Let me just look at the last little things and stuff like that. Yeah, I've already talked about that. We talked about the game with Brooklyn and the Milwaukee Bucks a bit. And let me just see if there's anything interesting on the front page at ESPN about stuff. Kevin Durant's confident the Draymond Green punch won't derail the Warriors. Okay. Zion Williamson's already hurt again. He's tweaked his ankle in a loss for the Pelicans last night. Yeah, that's basically that. And then Giannis is not worried about an 0-5 start. Oh, just a real quick plug, guys. DRAKECEREAL is an artist that I have the thing that's always behind me with the heads of the championship team on the wall, that art. That's DRAKECEREAL. She has some new blankets and stuff that are for sale in her store. Go on Instagram and look up DRAKECEREAL and check it out. I know you guys are diehard Raptor fans, and you might like some of the stuff that DRAKECEREAL is making as far as shirts and towels and blankets and stuff like that. Just really cool designs and just Raptors related stuff. So look up DRAKECEREAL on Instagram. And I'm just doing a plug for any kind of like Christmas ideas for Raptor fans in your life that you love. That's an independent artist, somebody that you can support and give money to and get a really nice quality item for Christmas for somebody that you love that's a Raptors fan. So check out DRAKECEREAL and look at her art and the different products that she puts her art on. And yeah, buy it and support local artists, independent artists that are not involved in big corporations, stuff like that. So let's get it going, Monique. We the North. That's right. And Isaac Kimball, thank you for your work, Tom. Thank you, Tom Duke, for your work on the channel with your channels, breakdowns, and everything you're doing to help me out and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it, Tom. All right, one more thing, guys. Really love all the activity on the fantasy league. Lots of good stuff going on, stuff like that. I see that Juancho is back out there because Tom has cut him for JaVale McGee. So if you guys like Juancho Hernan-Gomez, he's available. I like to see different people are picking up different people. Good to see the Saborans are involved and doing all kinds of transactions. Nice to see you guys picked up Bismack. I like that. Bismack Biyombo. And Tom's stacking some of the injured reserve guys for later, like Lonzo Ball and Jonathan Isaac. I see that. We appreciate you, Tom, dude. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here just before 2 hours. I appreciate y'all being here with me on the Think Tank today and letting it be known. I know we've got some different opinions about this, and we're just going to see how it all shakes out, how they finesse that roster, the way that they like to say it and stuff like that. All right, tomorrow, preview for Boston and Montreal. Tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be back then. Please like, comment, subscribe, or you will get drop kicked. That's what somebody was saying. You get drop kick that subscribe button, y'all, please. And thank you. And let's go, 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 go.